Alright. Hey guys, how's it going? Again, another face-to-face video just because, again, just been busy with work. And yesterday I finally had a day off. So I went down to the fields, but it was probably the windiest it's ever been. I'll show a clip of when I was down there, and it's just like, I couldn't record anything. The wind was too bad. So yeah, I'll show you that clip just to show why. Like, there hasn't been a goal kicking video, even though I did have a day off yesterday. The one day I have off, and it's this windy. Literally, the one day. Like, look at how much the ball's moving on the tee. Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, I can't do anything today. The wind is literally stopping the ball. Yeah, nah. Not a chance. But, yeah, while that clip is playing, I do have 3 days off next week. So next week I should hopefully be able to get down to the fields. If weather permits, I should be able to get down to the fields and finally make some goal kicking videos again, because I do miss it. All right. But yeah, with that out of the way, again, like the last one, you can probably tell by the title what we're going to talk about today, and that is the responsibility on the ball carrier when they are, obviously when they're running the ball. All right, and so I've sort of had this on my mind for a long time, pretty much all season, and then the Ryan Madison situation with the grand final, in the grand final on Dylan Edwards, the crusher tackle, that sort of just made me really decide, yeah, look, you know what, I'm gonna make this video and just sort of put it out there, just see what people's opinions are. Right? So obviously Ryan Madison has copped a 3-game ban for a crusher tackle on Dylan Edwards. Personally, I think he should have taken the fine and just grown up, but that's a completely different story. That's a completely different topic. But yeah, so pretty much what's happened is, Dylan Edwards has run the ball up. He was running forwards. He's been hit head on in the tackle. He's spun himself so his back is facing the defense, and he's driving backwards. Right, and while he's driving backwards, Madison's tried to give him space so that he can tackle him cleanly, and they've both fallen down, and, Madison's just obviously, landed on the back of his neck a little bit, right? So, crusher tackle, penalty, obviously. But, what Ryan Madison said post-game about it was really interesting. And I'll try to find it here. I've got it just here. Right? And so he says, Edwards, so the way Dylan went back in towards me and he kept driving his legs, I tried to let his head out, but he just kept backpedaling. So I'm not going to let him backpedal 100 meters, right? And I feel like that's the main part. Yeah, that I'm not going to let him backpedal 100, because what's his other option? His option, with the way Edwards has put himself in that tackle, it's either Madison gives away a penalty, or Madison lets him go completely. Dylan Edwards turns and starts running again. There is no winning on the defensive side, and I think that's something that needs to be addressed. Right? Ryan Madison, the Ryan Madison, Dylan Edwards situation is just one sort of topic of, one sort of point of it. Another player that I'd like to bring up about it, and, I love this guy. I think he's a fantastic personality in the game. I think on top of that, he's just a fantastic player, and that's Brian To'o. Right? I'm actually going to use this video as a test to see if I can, play rugby league clips in the background while I'm talking about stuff. So this will also be a little bit of a test video, which is another reason I wanted to make it. But yeah, so just in the clips that I'm showing, you can see that when To'o runs, not every time obviously, but there are times where he runs, where he'll run at the line and he'll duck, right? He'll be running at the line and he will just duck under tackles, right? What happens when he's running at the line, so let's just say there's one time he's running at the line, right? The defensive line has set itself, it's ready to go. At the last second, To'o decides to duck. His head makes contact with the defender's shoulder. What happens, right? In today's game, what would happen is the defender will get penalized, right? Which, in my opinion, is quite stupid, because anyone that's played rugby league knows, as a defender, you set yourself and you drive into a tackle. That's what you do. That's what you're taught to do from under 8s all the way through. Right? That's what you're taught to do. That's the basics of defending. But in today's game now, you can't do that. It's either It's either you do what you do and you cop the penalty, or you completely back out and let the attacker run clean through untouched. And I think that's one of the reasons we've seen so many blowout games in the past couple of years, is because of this issue. Like, defenders don't know where they stand. It's like, oh, shoot, do I give away the penalty? Do I give away the 6 again? Or do I, sort of like hands up, jump out of the play and just hope there's someone covering me? Like, there needs to be some sort of responsibility on the attackers when they're putting themselves in these situations. Like, don't get me wrong, obviously, player safety, number one issue, but, it's not just that does another example I'll use, arguably the best player in the game, Teddy. All right, when he runs, like, he fends people off, he ducks, he weaves, he bobs, he does all this stuff. What's to stop someone, like, as soon as he, pushes out of tackle and he, like, ducks and bobs, like, what's to stop someone that's, like, already set themselves to make a tackle for their shoulder to accidentally just bump him in the head, right? Now, from no fault of the defender himself, he's getting penalised, because if Teddy didn't duck and bob and weave, then the defender's hitting him on the chest, hitting him right where the ball is, right in the chest. But because Teddy's ducked and bobbed, it's penalty. So I think there needs to be like a bit more responsibility on the attackers in putting themselves in these situations. And at the same time, I don't blame the attackers, because, and this is a topic that for another video that I think I might make, is that they know that if they cop a little head knock, they know that if they put themselves into a situation where they can get crusher tackled, sort of stuff like that, ultimately they suffer no repercussions. Let's be honest. How many times in a game do you see someone get crusher tackled? They get the penalty, they're up straight away. Yep, sweet, ready to go. Good to go, whatever. Right? Excuse me. But they've now got the advantage because they've won their team a penalty or a 6 again, whatever it is. Right? So, there is no penalty on the attackers doing this stuff. Like, putting themselves in situations where they can get hurt. Right? Like through the crusher tackles, or like, a possible accidental shoulder to the head, or, an arm to the head or something, whatever. There needs to be some responsibility on the attacker. And so, again, while it's important that we focus on player safety, all that sort of stuff, like, at the end of the day, and I guarantee you can ask any professional footballer this, like, they know what they've signed up for. They know that they run the risk of getting hurt. They know that they're running the risk of, getting hit in the head, copping an injury, whatever. So I think we need to get out of this mentality that the attackers are, like, the most important sort of thing, so to speak. Like, if that makes sense, like, it just, because it's killing the game. Because, like I said, how many times do you see in a game a player will put themselves in a position where they've gotten ever so slightly crusher tackled, they stay down, they're doing this, like, oh, my neck, they get the penalty, boom, they're up ready to go straight away. Like, if you want, if you want to lay down and pretend to be injured, then you should be going off. Like, that's my thought process on it. But again, that's not the topic for now. Like, I think, like I said, attackers need to be given some sort of responsibility when they're running the ball to protect themselves. It shouldn't all be on the defense. All right. But so just sort of wanted to pop that question out to you guys, just see what you guys think about it. Again, this is going to be a little test because I'm going to put the Brian Toto highlights into the video as well. So we'll see what happens if I get like a copyright strike or something. We'll see. I'm just curious. That's one of the reasons I'm making this video. All right. But again, next week I've got 3 days off, so if weather permits, I'll definitely be getting down to the fields and finally recording some outfield stuff again. But yeah, like I said, let me know in the comments what you think. Do you agree? Do you think that, the attackers need to hold some of the responsibility for themselves, or do you think, no, the way it is now works fine? All right. But yeah, let me know in the comments below. And with that one, guys, take it easy. Have a good one.